Good morning and welcome. My name is Helen Jennings. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator based here in the UK, and it's lovely to welcome you on this Friday morning. A little bit of a grey Friday morning here, quite a bit of frost about, but lovely to welcome you nevertheless. We are going to be playing with some daffodils today. So whatever the weather is like outside, we're going to be spring-like in here, so it's lovely to have you. Do come on, do say hello, do let us know whether you're joining, where you're joining us from, where in the world you're joining us from, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook, and even if you're joining after the event, if you're watching on catch up, it's still lovely to see who's here with us. So yeah, welcome. So without too much further ado, let me bring in my other camera. There we go. And as always, this is me, www.Love-a-Duckie.co.uk, and that is my website where you'll find details of links to my store and inspiration and classes and all those sorts of things. It's always lovely to have people join us, whether in person or through the post or online for classes, so do go and check those out. And also you'll find me under Love-a-Duckie wherever else you go searching, whether that is on YouTube, on Pinterest, on Facebook, on Instagram. Yeah, look out for Love-a-Duckie and you should hopefully find me. So let's move that out of the way. On Monday, we were playing with the Daffodil Daydream bundle, and we're going to continue to do that today. But on Monday, our focus was on the stamp set. Today, we are going to be playing with the dies out of that same bundle. And there's a lot of dies. I'll have a look in a minute and see how many there are, but it is a huge big collection of dies because they build up to make, there's 24 dies in that set, and they build up to create these beautiful daffodils. And obviously, you know, we're sort of coming out Christmas, New Year. We're starting to look forward to the spring here in the UK. And there's certainly lots of shoots coming up in my garden, and I was out and about yesterday and saw lots of other bulbs starting to spring through. So yeah, we're getting to that time of the year when we're going to see those daffodils everywhere. So let's have a closer look at these dies. Now obviously on Monday we were playing with some of these dies, so we used these cutout dies here that cut out the stamp images, and we did cut out a stamped butterfly. There is a detailed butterfly in here. There's a little sort of flower, and you've got a butterfly body there as well. We may use some of those today, we'll see, but we're going to concentrate on the dies that create the flowers out of this bundle. So I've actually arranged all the dies. I've dragged them all out and I've arranged them into sort of like flower bundles, if you like. So you can see you get a lot of dies there, and it's almost getting your head round which dies are for what. And when I get round to putting this up as a blog post, I will put some pictures of, you know, these dies for one flower, these dies for another. Obviously these are the stems and leaves. Those sort of almost speak for themselves. These two little bits here create the bud, if you want some daffodil buds in amongst your flowers. And then you've got two different flower types, and the first uses these two sort of tri-petal shapes. So you've got two of these that are the same, and you've got the two detailed overlay bits that are the same. So you want the base and the overlay, two each of those for that flower, and then you need the base trumpet piece and the detailed trumpet piece. So those 6 pieces there will create one type of flower. And then down here we've got this sort of another tri-petal, but a very different shape. And this one looks like an aeroplane's propeller. This one is sort of a bit more hanging down and droopy. And then you've got this piece here that is the detailed overlay for it. And then you've got these bits. These also look like single propellers, don't they? So whether that's a got 3 blades on that propeller, you've only got 2 on these. So again, this is your base piece, and this piece here is your detail piece that goes on the top. So you need one each of those, and again you need a base to your trumpet and your detailed trumpet piece. So those are the dies as they're laid out. We will run some of those through and see what they look like cut out. I have got here's some dies I cut earlier and that we'll be able to look at. But for now, I'm going to cut a set of the daffodil pieces out of a piece of crushed curry. So not Daffodil Delight, but crushed curry. I have got some Daffodil Delight ones cut. I thought I'd go a bit darker. Now let me bring in my cutting mats. Very well loved my cutting mat, but that is the way they should be. And I'm going to cut all of these flower pieces. I'm going to cut one of each. Now there are lots of the colours that you could use. I mean, obviously you can have whatever colour daffodils you like, but you know, obviously you can go with things like Daffodil Delight. You can have pumpkin pie if you want some orange. You can have white ones. You can go with sort of different shades of yellows and oranges and things. You could have saffron. You could have a nice pale yellow. You could have pale papaya, so that sort of peachy, pale peachy sort of colour. So we've got one each of these dies. Fabulous way of using up all those scraps. So if you those bags of scraps, if you've got drawers or bags of boxes of scraps like I have, you could be using them up to create these. Let's just run that through. Let's pop these off. I think everything is out of there. Let's lose that bit. Let's bring these bits off. We'll pop out all the little central bits in a minute. Away, so I'm not battling with that. Right, I'm just going to pop these dies back over here so we know where they are and don't lose them. I think that's all of the pieces back and safely gathered in. I've had my tools somewhere, so let's just get rid of these little landlocked pieces in here. I'm going to bring in a bit of white paper just to lay underneath that. Right, have we got everything? Yes. So obviously the other thing that we're going to need is some stems and some leaves for our daffodil. I think I'm going to go pear pizzazz for this one. Again, I've just got out my bag of oddments. And let's cut some of these leaves out. And my die is back on the metallic, on the magnetic sheet for now, and let's bring these in. So obviously you've got the piece like that that you use to, that your flower is growing out of, and then you've got these pieces that are your leaves, and one faces one way and one faces the other. So as you're making up your arrangements, you've got these different directions that they're going in. So how these, I'm not going to stick these together because I might do a bit of mixing and matching. So your detailed overlay piece sticks on your base piece. Like that. This one is on here. These come on here. And this one lines up with that one. And then you get your little bud. Okay. So if we lay those together and then add in our trumpet, and we could have it coming out this way, sticking up that way, clumping down this way. And obviously you could make a little collection and have them doing all sorts of different things. You've got your stem that's going to come in on the back. Bit of a leaf coming in there. And you can see how you quickly created these beautiful daffodils. So this one is a bit flatter. Again, you can decide which direction it's coming in from. Let's do that and that. We could have had another stem. In fact, let me just cut one more stem. And have your little bud like that. So they're just beautiful. The thing about, so that is in crushed curry. But the thing about daffodils is they do come in lots of mixes of colours. You can have a little bit of yellow, a little bit of white, a bit of orange, all sorts of things. So what I have already gone ahead and done is I have cut a whole load of more daffodils. So I've got 2 sets there in pumpkin pie, 2 sets there in Daffodil Delight, and 2 sets there in white, and these have all been cut in Granny Apple Green, these stems, so we've got a bit of a difference of stems. So I think what we'll do is then we can start to have a little bit of a play. So if I take out this Daffodil Delight one, bring in Daffodil Delight and crushed curry, you can start to play with having a bit of shading and deciding which way round you like that to go. Would we prefer a Daffodil Delight You've got a couple of options there. You've got the darker colour at the back with the pale on the top, or the paler colour at the back with the darker colour on the top. I wonder what some pumpkin pie would look like with some no, we want the yellow on the top. Or alternatively, we can have pumpkin pie on the top of Daffodil Delight. That's that way. That's that way. There you have a couple of different options with your crushed curry and pumpkin pie. Obviously, you can mix and match with your buds as well. Didn't cut any crushed curry buds, but yes, I did. That's what I want. I need a pumpkin pie one. So you can really start to mix and match then and decide which colourways that you like the best, which ones work best for you. I think I might take that one and that one. And I might have a bud like that. And let's stick these together. Obviously you could die cut these with the adhesive sheets on the back. I'm just going to use some little spots of Tombow on mine. They're not too fiddly, they're relatively good sizes to add glue to. So this one is a Daffodil Delight on top of crushed curry. And I think I'll have it sort of reaching for the sky, looking for the sunshine. And then we'll have this one here. Let's put our little aeroplane propeller. On there. That one on there. And then we'll add our little detailed trumpet to our trumpet background. And this one, like that, I think. Obviously, it may depend on your arrangement as to where you want these to go. This one coming here. Coming up the back there. I'll swap those round because we've got the pumpkin pie on the back and the crumb cake on the front. Let's have a little bud coming up there. Just lovely. And now we need to decide how we're going to arrange those on a card front. I'm going to dig into these gorgeous papers we had the other day. These nice hearts. Got petty pinks and flirty flamingos. You've got the black. You've got that lovely crushed curry designs just there that would pull out the crushed curry. Look at those. See, those are really pretty with the sort of pink and the pale papaya and the flirty flamingo. Because of course you could have your leaves one colour and your trumpets another. That's another option. You might have a go at that as well in a moment. Or have a look at that. Quite like this little heart paper. And I wanted to have something a bit daffodil-y as well. Let's bring in a, excuse my arm, pumpkin pie card base. I'm going to cut my crushed curry. Let's make that to make that 4 centimetres, I think, by 14.4. And then this will need to be at least 6 centimetres. I'm going to make it 6.5, just so that there's a little bit of overlap. .4. That overlap will just give us a little bit of wiggle room. Laying these papers down. So these little hearts on here are all in a pear pizzazz green. Let's have a look at our flowers. Obviously these stems are quite large on here, but that's not a problem. We can trim those down. Laying those down, having a bit of a play with how we want them to go. Rather pretty. Let's bring in our Happy Mother's Day for a bit of a banner or something to go over the top of where those stems all meet. I did pick out. Ooh, I think that might work. That would be quite pretty over there. These are the Stitch So Sweetly dies. So you've got these scalloped stitched rectangles, and then you've got these label shapes as well, which are rather lovely. And this is actually very vanilla, isn't it, rather than white. And possibly pumpkin pie ink. So let me just stretch over and get my blocks. I think a B block, indeed. A bit of very vanilla cardstock. Let's tap, tap, tap that and ink that up. Leave ourselves room to be able to die cut around it. I think that will work perfectly. You're going to take a blending brush, pick up some pumpkin pie, just blend that round to give that a bit of colour. Just wondering about let's have some very vanilla twine to go in with that. Can have a twine bow coming on there. And then we shall want something to stick on there as well. So some playing with pattern resin dots I think will probably work quite nicely with that crushed Korean thing. So let's continue our flower arranging. Let's run some glue down this stem. I'm going to stick that behind there so that we're then working with it as one piece. And we'll have this bud coming. I think I'm going to run it up the where these two papers meet. Take my paper snips and let's snip that off at the bottom. bit of glue on the end of there. And attach this again so that we're working with it as a single piece rather than individual pieces. And run a little bit of glue down that stem. You can have that coming just there. And snip. And this one up there, I think. So it does look as if the bud is almost sort of alongside the big flower. Again, a bit of glue. And we could have added dimensionals to these to build them up even more if we wanted to. Let's put in some of our leaves. Tucked underneath that petal just there. This one coming out like this one, and again just tucked under that petal just there. Let's snip, snip. Let's bring in my ribbon scissors. And so my ribbon scissors aren't anything, you know, you won't go looking for them and find ribbon scissors. They are just my pair of snips that I keep just for that purpose. Won't be tied to anybody spotted trying to cut paper with my ribbon scissors, because our scissors are brilliant, but paper does blunt them. So I keep one pair of scissors that is just purely for cutting my ribbon, and they are the ones that got this rather beautiful chain on that we were gifted from Stampin' Up a little while ago, that got this little hole in that you can poke the end of your scissors in, so that I can always look and know that those are my ribbon scissors. Ladies coming to my classes know that those are my ribbon scissors. Everybody's on board with my ribbon scissors. Right, let's bring in some dimensionals. I'd love to hear if you keep ribbon scissors as well and how you can tell them apart. Is it just that they are a completely different style of scissor, or have you done something to customize them? Right, so these playing with pattern resin dots were carried over in the catalogue. Obviously we don't, the playing with pattern suite is no longer current, but these fun little flat resin dots are, and they work quite nicely with that. Thank you very much. So there we have some mix and match daffodils. And it obviously will need a insert in there. Perhaps use some of that paper to decorate my insert as well. As I said, you can also just have a little bit of a play. You could also sort of start playing with almost 3 colours. or multiple colours. Let's have a look. Let's have a white background. So you could really start playing with your mixing, matching and your colours of your daffodils. That would need another white and yellow underneath. That's really quite pretty. Hi Jane, no worries. We are playing mix and match with daffodils. So I've sort of gone through, paired up which daffodils dyes you use with which ones, and so that's all at the beginning, the how-to. This one is a combination of crushed curry, daffodil delight and pumpkin pie with some of the papers. So yeah, we're just saying that you could, go even further by having different colour in the background. So you could do white leaves with yellow flashes on, and then a different colour trumpet again. So you can really go to town on your mixing and matching. But what I thought I would do now is I have got, so in my box, I've cut a couple of sets of Daffodil Delight, a couple of sets of pumpkin pie, and a couple of sets of white. I'm going to take the white ones. Don't know how many of the white ones I will need. Let's take out a couple of buds. And take let's take some Daffodil Delight if I can find it. Yes, just there. Let's put the stem back in there. So what I thought I would do with these is I'm going to take this lemon brush. It actually has a lot of colour on it. I'll just give them all a wash. And for Christmas, but that one I've been using. I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to take some Daffodil Delight. Let's take the this is the detailed piece. And let's just add a little bit of sponging, so we're not just adding in a little bit of colour on the ends. Build this up, see how it goes as we go along. So again, I'm going to take the detailed trumpet. And just add some sponging to that. I might actually take that other brush, excuse me, that has got some orange on it. I might just add in a bit of orange to the end of that trumpet. So really very different, very delicate sort of colour. let's take the other style of daffodil. And come in with our yellow on this trumpet. Touch of the orange on the end. Bring that back over here for now. Back to our Daffodil Delight. And then our propellers. Come in a little bit darker on that bird piece. Right, again, just bringing a touch of orange in that base just to give it a darker shade. And I'm going to come in, I think, with another of the larger daffodils. And some Daffodil Delight on the end of there. Daffodil Delight on there. And let's come in with our trumpet piece. There, right. Move these blending brushes out the way for a minute. Now, with it to bring in a doily. This is one of the square doilies. Still got quite a bit of holes need popping out in there. Is that all of them? I think so. Again, I'm just using my brush that got a lot of orange on. just to add a bit of shading to that. There's still a little hole left in the middle of there. And cut myself a frame, and I think I'll cut that out of white. I've brushed our Daffodil Delight brush. Let's bring in some yellow around the edge there. And I think I'll have some daffodils on there. So I'm going to stick these daffodils together, and then we will arrange them. One. Two. I'll have that one coming downwards. Let's put some glue on the back of here. Add that in there. And it's our trumpet. So I said at the beginning, there's 24 dies in this set. his arms coming across here. Coming up there. And then this, last but not least, although we've got some bud, we've got a bud in there as well, we'll perhaps add in. One. As I say, you could cut these out, particularly the fancy bits with the detailed bits with self-adhesive sheet on the back, if you wanted to make it a little bit easier to stick those together. But they're not too complicated. This one will have reaching for the sky, cowboy. And then let's do our little bud. And in fact, because we don't want even numbers of things, let's take this one as well. That will give us 3 flowers, 2 buds. So an arrangement of 5. Okay. Let's bring in our doily, and still finding bits in here that haven't popped out. Just going to add a couple of little spots of glue, and we will then see, we finally got them all now. Hopefully make sure that they're covered up, although the fact that we've got shading and things on it anyway will hopefully help to disguise that. I'm thinking this one I'm going to stick down. I'm not putting glue right on that bottom edge because I need to tuck in my stems. This one I'm going to raise up on dimensionals. Like that. I think I'll have this other one on dimensionals too. Stick in our little buds. We have one coming up here, one coming out this way, and then I'm going to take some of my stems and leaves that I've got here, and run a bit of glue down the back. And have that one coming in there. That one coming in there. Let's have this one coming in here. And we'll take some leaves as well. and have another that comes in like that, I think. And then if I take my non-ribbon paper snips, let's just cut round that scallop slightly. So there we have bring this over this side just so that I don't lay this card down on where I've been ink blending. Let's cut some DSP. I'm going to cut it to 13.9 by 9.5, so not the first size mat, the second size mat. Not necessarily because I think I need to put another layer in, but just because I want to leave a wider white border. Yes, quite like that. And then let's do the Easter blessings on this one. Here's a little basic white, and I think I'm going to go black ink. I've stamped a couple of those, thinking let's have Easter. And then we'll have to come in and cut round the blessings. I'd have wanted it to be straight. I could have masked it, but let's stick these bits on. And let's have some DSP. Let's put on our daffodil layer. I'm going to put that on a jaunty angle. Bring in Easter. Get that to follow the line of the stitching, so it almost looks like it's been stitched on. I think I'm going to put, snip this dimensional in half, some dimensionals on the back of this one. Perfect. And I'll have that one coming over the top there. I might come in with some of these matte decorative dots here because they've got these nice ombre effect on the colouring, so we could pick out a couple of nice pale yellow dots. Just about there, like that, and that's really quite pretty. So we have really had a good play over the last couple of lives with the Daffodil Daydream stamp set and the coordinating dies. Oh. So here they all are laid out, the ones that we've used today, and we used the outline ones the other day. We've not used our little detail butterfly, but there's plenty of time. So all of those gorgeous dies and that stamp set. And today it's been all about the dies. Monday it was all about the stamps. Let's bring those in. So on Monday we played with the stamps. Today we've played with the dies, and they are just beautiful and are just an absolute essential, I think, for all of your springtime, Easter time, Mother's Day crafting. So do make sure that you get yours popped into your basket. Yeah, and get playing. It is a really beautiful set. So thank you for joining me today. Just looking, I knocked my mouse flying a moment ago. Let's find my little cursor. Let's come back up here. So thank you for joining me this morning. It's been lovely to have you with me, and I'll be back next week, and we'll be playing with something else. Yeah, so I'll schedule those posts to go out some point over the weekend, but I will be back here on Monday and on Friday to do some more playing with you. Yeah, have a lovely, lovely weekend. Obviously, any questions, or if I can help you get your hands on that Daffodil Daydream bundle, then do get in touch. I would love to hear from you. So take care, everybody, and I'll see you all